Well, I thought today I would bring the kayak out and take a look at the lake. It is really full. I think it's 221.5 or something, about 9 feet above where I was out here last time. But I wanted to try tracking and doing a little logging on the Lowrance. So I put in a blank micro SD card. Got the Lowrance powered up. I'm on the ground, so it's just blinking a little bit. But I'm going to try to do some logging today of the sonar and see if I can create my own map. I figured this would be a good spot to get started. I'm going to figure out how to do this and log the Lowrance Elite 4 chirp. And one thing I did learn looking online is that when I'm in any of the pages that's a split screen, that you want to get the screen highlighted that you want the menu to, you press the pages button twice. And it'll put a little ring around the page that you're on. So that's on the nav menu. You can see all the tracks I've had. I gotta look up how to erase those because I kind of wanted to get rid of those. But I'll press the pages button twice and it'll highlight my sonar, which is good because that's the menu I need to get to the logging. So if I go to menu, you can see log sonars down there. This is of course the first time I've ever tried it. So we'll hit log sonar, and it just has a chart name. I guess you can change, start logging, browse files, cancel. I'll just hit start logging and we'll see what happens. I think on the Genesis program there's a way to tell it an offset, which we would definitely need to offset the depths here because we are way high from normal. So I'm going to hit start logging and go tool around some of my favorite places, and maybe afterwards we'll be able to create a map. Well, simple enough. Running the log on the Elite 4 chirp for pretty much all this time. I figured since I'm about ready to turn around and start heading back, that I probably ought to just stop the logging and maybe restart it, just in case. So I figure I'll try to see how that works. So I'll go to the menu. I'm on the sonar side, and I'll go down to log sonar, and you can see it's still going, but I'll hit stop logging, and then I kind of wanted to start logging again and see if it starts it in a new file. So I'll hit log sonar again, and I can see the chart name did change from a 0 to a 1 in there, so it looks like it's a new file. So I'll hit start logging again, and we'll get a good log, and I'll probably use my chart to try to not backtrack over the same places I've been. So I'm back at the boat ramp, and I've been logging all my sonar data for the day. You can see the sonar still going. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the logging now. So I'll go down to log sonar, hit enter, go over and hit stop, and hopefully we'll have some good files and we'll see if we can create our own map. So I'm back after running the sonar across the lake. Took the little SD card out, the mini SD card out, and I put it in this little SanDisk adapter. And then I actually use a USB adapter from the SD card to USB, like this, and plug it into the MacBook. And from there, I was able to go through the Insight Genesis page and actually upload the sonar logs on my MacBook. So that was exciting. I didn't have to use a Windows PC. I was able to put them right into the MacBook, and they've uploaded. And once they've finished uploading, you'll get a screen that looks like this. And you'll see where it says 5 trips processing, and those are the different files that I uploaded from the trip. So we'll see when that goes away or what happens there. Eventually, I assume that they will finish processing and show up under my uploads, but they've been up there for about an hour, so we'll see how long that actually takes. All right, so here's an update back on the Insight Genesis page, and the sonar logs that I uploaded have finished processing, and I've actually uploaded a couple others. But now they show up here under the My Uploads, and if you click on View Trip, they're pretty cool. And it'll show you your map, and it shows a red line of where you went on that portion of your trip, and the sonar logging for that area. What's kind of cool, I didn't even know it did this, was since it's actually logging the sonar, you can see off to the right side, it's got the sonar echoes recorded as well as the depth and your location. And you can actually play it. You can hit play and watch the location move along and see how the fish are in the different areas and see what structure are in different areas. And it'll just play along like a little movie. So it's pretty neat. You can see the depths going up and down here. I'll hit a little hole over here. You can see some fish around that area. But you can come back and later look at those. But it actually worked. Now, one thing I did do is come over here to the Data Offset tab, and I made sure that when after these had shown up in my Maps and Sonar, I've typed in an offset of -5.3. And this is because our lake is 5.3 feet above full pool. And you could actually do an offset if your transducer was deeper in the water. Since I'm on the kayak, I figure it's only in a couple, maybe an inch or two down. So I just used the pool level and the measurement from the web about the lake and how high it was at the time for this trip. Now, when I applied that offset and hit apply and reprocess, it went into the same processing that it did the first time. So the map itself, if you do that, once you hit the apply offset and you come back, you'll see that your number of trips actually goes back down, and it seems like that disappears. But that one trip is processing again. So whenever you apply that offset, and I did this to each of my trips, I applied the offset and then let them reprocess. And they took a little while, but I got back up here, and all of them are back in. So if I come back here and hit view the trip, I can click on merge trips and then select any or all of the different sonar logs that I have and hit merge trips, and it says that it's queued up and it's working, and it'll take a little while to create that single merge trip. So you have one map in this tab for merged uploads. Now I've got two since I've done two of them. But what I did was I went back and actually re-merged all my previous logs with my new ones. So now I have a merge that has 7 trips. I could probably delete the first one. So now when I view my merged map, this is pretty cool. You can see now I've got all this area that I've covered in the kayak, and I can see all the different areas, all the different depths. And I intentionally went out a second time with the first set of sonar logs and a merge map, and went out with the intention to fill in different areas that I had missed or just didn't cover. And you can kind of see how I did my tracks. I sat there and went back and forth through the area on the kayak and created a much larger map and got all this area covered. And I'll do it again next time. I'll go out and maybe I'll go down further south on the lake, or maybe I'll come up here into this side of the lake. But I've got a pretty good set of maps going here. And the other neat thing is the social map. I downloaded the social map as well, and someone else had put in some other areas down here further on the lake and some areas up here. And what I did from the merged, once I've got the merged trip here, you can actually download that map or create the map from the sonar logs, and all you do is click on map generation here, you have to put in your chart plotter, and then you hit generate, and it'll take a few minutes, but it's not too long, and then it'll come up and download to a zip file or exe file. And I simply used it on my Mac. I put it in my little SanDisk adapter and plugged it into the USB drive, extracted it into the root of the into the mini SD disk, mini SD, plugged it in my chart plotter, and it worked. I'm filling in my sonar logging, and you can see on the Elite 4 chirp that I've got my old path that I uploaded from last time, my map. It's off to the right there. And you can see my tracks from today are the pink line, and just kind of filling it in. I'm not sure how wide the track really ends up, but I'll see. And I think it's going to be, I think that track on the right side was just one pass, so I'll probably be overlapping a bit here, but I'm going to actually stop the logging and then start a new file like I did last time. That seemed to work. Doing a little more trolling along, a little sonar logging. Got through some little shallow area I wanted to check on, and now just caught a nice big fish. Wow, he's bigger than I thought. Oh, whoa, a big bass. Look at that. He's another lunker. He's huge. I gotta weigh him this time. First, I gotta get him on. I gotta land him first. Oh yeah. Look at that guy. Look at that fish. Oh, that sucker is huge. I'm gonna set him in the water. Get a little scale out. Woohoo! That's a 5 3/4 pound bass. Oh yeah! Look at that. That's beautiful, beautiful fish. I gotta just say, that's a beautiful fish. Alright, we're gonna let him go. Just look at that mouth. Look at that guy. He is beautiful. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my log off. And again, I'm gonna make sure I'm looking at the sonar side. So I'll double click the pages button, and that highlights my sonar. Get to my menu, go down to log sonar, and I'll hit stop logging. And that's it. I'll take these files back, try to merge them all together, and see what happens. Alright, so it's a little hard to see out on the lake, but I wanted to get in here and show the map and see exactly what it looked like on the depth finder on the Lowrance Elite 4 chirp here. Now that I've loaded up my mini SD card, put it back in the unit. Of course, it's blinking because I don't have the sonar hooked up. But you can see the last trail that I did when I went out to fill in, and I'll zoom out a little bit. You can see basically that whole area that's been mapped. This last time was when I went back out with the first set of maps, and I intentionally went and kept my trail and went and toured through areas that were not on the first set of maps. And the areas that are not on there show up just kind of as a blank area. You can see that there's some gaps still in those spots, and they match up to what I see online on the Insight Genesis. So the next time I go out, I'll probably hit or fill in a couple of these areas that are not mapped completely. I really like the idea that I can build my own map, put it all together, see some of these spots, see some of the ridges, some of the short, as well as you can see some areas down here which I haven't been to, but these were the social maps. So anytime you just save all the different maps in a folder, the same folder that zip or exe file comes off of from Insight Genesis, just leave them all on that SD card, put that in there, and you'll see all the different maps. So I've got really the one merged map plus the social map. So I've got a couple different two maps displayed, and that's helpful because I don't have to go fill that in. Somebody else has already done that.